Hi everyone, my name's Pieta Valentine. I've written 2 books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. So this video is on high-level anxiety, a very difficult state when anxiety is constant, unremitting and unchanging. Now, the last video I've just done was on the high end of moderate level anxiety. So that is anxiety around 7 out of 10, whereas, low being 0 and 10 being high. So at that cusp of 7 out of 10 anxiety, when it's, there most of the time, but not all of the time, there is a chance for change. But once it becomes constant, as in high level anxiety, which I'll talk about now, there really is, well, I'd go as far as to say no chance for change. I mean, there may be, but I haven't witnessed it. I haven't witnessed a person in a dementia facility with constant high unremitting anxiety lower that level, except through medication. So that's why I'm doing these videos, and that's why it's important to really put in that effort and that work with your mother or your parent when they are at the lower level of anxiety or moderate level anxiety, so it doesn't get to high anxiety, really, because there's a chance of change, of being able to, settle it, at least, 30-40%. I mean, if they've got low level anxiety, as I've explained in the first video, it doesn't take a lot of effort to reduce it to moderate, to no anxiety practically, actually, once you get them orientated and once they get a friend at the unit. And even with moderate level anxiety, you can turn it around with all the things we mentioned about, exercise and walking and regular visits and, a nice bedroom where they can lie down and relax and have time to themselves. All of that can be done. But once it starts creeping up to the higher end of moderate anxiety, the anxiety's there most of the time, it gets harder and harder to turn the tables. And really it takes a lot. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of will, both from the person themselves. They have to make an effort. They definitely have to make an effort. None of this work can actually happen unless the resident, the person with dementia themselves, want to do it and they make an effort for it. And you need to talk through with them like that, sort of in coach mode, if you like. I mean, sports coach mode. I mean, in New Zealand, everyone plays sport at school. Everyone's taken their kids to sport, rugby, soccer, netball, whatever. So we're all used to that sports coaching ethos and dialogue. And yeah, same in the dementia unit. You need to encourage your mother and say, look, Mum, we're making so much effort here. We have to settle this anxiety for you. Otherwise, there's going to be no quality of life. So we're nearing the high end. There's only one thing I haven't mentioned at this point that actually really helps these people that are getting up to that high level. If there's a resident in the facility who is articulate and supportive, they can actually turn these women round. I've witnessed this. There was one man, he was in the forces. He was so good with all the women. And when they were really highly escalated, he'd just come up to them and say, it's all right, dear. And he'd take their hand or give them a pat on the back. It's all right, dear. We're all here. Everything's fine. Honestly, that was actually just about all he said. And these women, you wouldn't believe it. You could just see them, all the tension go out of their system. He was one of them. He was a male. He was pleasant. He was reassuring. He was a friend, because he was a friend of everybody's. That was it. He'd go around everyone every day. Would you believe it? All these escalated women. I don't know how on earth he found this interesting, but he did. Well, he found it interesting because he He used to say that all the grannies are here, all my sisters, and you know, we have to care for each other. This is my family now. Yeah. And that's absolutely how he operated. They were his family. His actual family had pretty much abandoned him. His children hardly visited. So he adopted the woman as his sisters and his family. And he was so loving and so kind. Gosh, for those 3 years that he was at the unit, he de-escalated so many women with anxiety. I mean, the staff had no chance of doing what he did. Even the family of these women who were escalated, they couldn't turn him around like this man could. So, you know, that's just another way. If there is a man, you know, at the unit that is like this, that's a great fortune, you know, because he will be helping so many people, including your mother. So make friends with him and give your appreciation to him. Give your appreciation to any other resident at the unit who is supporting your mother. Okay, so these are a lot of the techniques to help the high level anxiety. But if after all this work, your mother is still so anxious, so uptight, not sleeping, all the rest of it. I mean, the staff will have noticed, the doctor will have noticed, and at the medical meetings, and you know, it's when it's at this level that medication will need to come into play, which, you know, we never want medication to come into play to help anxiety because it's so strong. And, well, you know, at this level, it's sort of, the doses can be strong and there can be side effects, and, you know, it's not good for quality of life. So probably the best thing is, okay, so medication, if you've discussed at the doctor's meeting, medication is needed to settle your mother down, even though you've tried everything else to turn it around, but it hasn't worked. Medication's needed. So really the best thing now is to make sure that working with the doctor and the nursing staff, that the medication isn't so strong that the side effects are so disabling that there is no quality of life, you know, and you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see the signs and symptoms, the changes in your mother with the medication, whether it's, you know, mobility that's affected, or she's more sleepy, or, you know, whatever the side effects are. So just discuss it with the staff and work it through. That's the main thing. Be upskilled, read up on it, be knowledgeable, have the clinical notes, ask the questions to the doctor, and just be informed and inform your mother what's happening too. Tell her what's happening and why it's happening. She needs to know, you know. And so you just have to be empathetic, sympathetic at this point, aware, knowledgeable, go to the meetings, discuss with the doctor and nurse, keep an eye on your mother, all these things. Make sure she's having enough sleep, that, you know, she's got a heater in her room, that she's warm, that she has a comfortable bedding and a nice pillow, that she has everything she likes, all these things, you know, because it's a very difficult time seeing your parent in high level stress. Not good. And, you know, maybe the medication will help and settle, and maybe you can get medication that doesn't have strong side effects. That would be great, you know, if that's the case. If there's medication like that out there that does that, and the doctor and medical staff can work in, you know, to make that equation happen, fantastic. But it's a delicate balance, really, a delicate balance. So really, that's all I can tell you about anxiety and all this experience, all the experience I've had with these people and dementia facilities and working with anxiety, and what you can do to help. And hopefully you have enough energy to help. I know it's a lot, all of this work, but it's so important and it's so valuable. And especially if you get this up and running at the start, so that your mother's anxiety can settle and she can get out and exercise and have a beautiful room and make friends. Then once she's settled, your life will be so much easier. You know, you can just have regular visits, but you won't have to put in all this enormous amount of input that really is needed at the start to be able to get your mother, you know, acquainted with the place and stress settled enough that she can manage and have quality of life. Important for all of us, isn't it? So thank you for your likes, subscriptions, comments, everything.